Alright, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my good and great people. I'm Zima, your guy here at the Zimax Media, and today here I'm back again with our second part of flight info. Yep, and today here I've got some five things to talk about in this second part of flight info, and I will begin here. Number one, I really hope you're keeping safe and doing fine in whatever country you're in right now, because you need to stay alive. Yeah. Number two, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Click the bell icon right there and the button for updates and notifications. Number three, I'll be tackling some queries that you guys asked me in our last video. Yeah, there are some questions there. I'll just be handling them before we do what we're meant to do here today. Number four, I think, today I'll be giving you a list of the countries and regions we're handling today. The countries maybe in South Africa, West Africa, we are going to handle today here. Then number five, the last but not the least, please at the end of this video tell us the country you'd like us to handle in our next video, or if you have any query, any question, just ask down there at the comment section. So right away, let us begin with queries you guys asked me. Yep, someone asked me a question about Uganda, if there is transport between Uganda and Kenya by road. A guy called Abraham Pulipaka, and right now there's no transport between Uganda and Kenya by road, simply because Uganda borders are still closed. Yeah, also Kenya borders are still closed till 1st of August. For Uganda, it's until further notice. Yeah, those are questions from somebody asking about Angola and India flights. We'll handle them right here today in our part 2 here. A question by somebody asking about flights from Oman to Nigeria. Yeah, Nigeria flights are in a video we did yesterday. Nigeria has got its borders closed. In fact, they have extended their closure of their airspace till October 15th. From August 19th to October 15th. So Nigeria has closed its airspace. Yeah, Kenya to Comoros, we'll talk about Kenya today here. Yep, those are the few queries we have. Now, let us begin. Let us start from East Africa. We'll be doing East Africa, Central Africa today here. We'll be dealing with West Africa, 3 countries, and Asia and Middle East, 3 countries, South Africa, 3 countries. Yep. So let us begin from Central Africa, and the country we are dealing today here with is Angola. So what do we have for Angola today? Okay. Now, Angola, as of 17th of July 2020, is what had for Angola. Now, Angola had a restriction, and the restriction expires on 9th of August 2020. Now let me just go through this very quick. General restrictions. In fact, we are doing Angola is the only country in Central Africa we're doing today here. Restriction, Angola. The government has extended the state of emergency until at least August 9th. Exceptions are medevac, repatriation, cargo, humanitarian, tech stops, and state flights. The country's land, sea, and air borders are closed. The movement of essential goods, humanitarian operations, and the repatriation of foreign nationals continues. As of June 26th, according to the Ministry of Transport, most international flights are still banned in Angola. In Angola's situation of public disaster situation, only humanitarian and special flights will be allowed. All passengers traveling to Angola must perform a RT-PCR SARS COVID-2 molecular test up to 8 days before the date of travel. International air travel is expected to resume in the near future, but there is no specified date as of yet. So Angola flights are to resume soon, but there is no specified date for the resumption of flights, although the restriction expires on 9th of August. Passenger restriction. Still in Angola, passengers are restricted from any country other than Angola. Upon entry, 14-day quarantine is required. Passengers disembarking from flights must at all times make use of the means of individual protection against COVID-19, masks and other things. Yeah, so that is all we have for Angola today here. That's all we have for Angola. Yeah, those are the few restrictions right there. Okay, so let's go all the way to West Africa. And the country we are beginning with is Nigeria. Nigeria people, are you there, Nigerian guys? Just say hi to us right here. Nigeria, as of July 16th, 2020, Nigeria. These are the restrictions. No foreign nationals are allowed to enter the country. As of June 22nd, the closure of Nigerian airports to all international flights will continue until further notice. Country allowing humanitarian, medical, relief, repatriation and cargo flights. All flights must obtain approval in advance for flights from Nigeria Federal Ministry of Aviation. Yep, and passenger restriction for Nigeria, passengers must quarantine for 14 days at a government mandated facility or hotel. Must wear a mask, practice social distancing, shelter in place, self-isolate or quarantine. Yeah, that's what we have for Nigeria. And yesterday we said Nigeria have the flight suspended until October 15th. Yeah, that's all we have for Nigeria. Yeah, our next country in West Africa is Ghana. Somebody asked about Ghana, India to Ghana. So Ghana right here. Ghanaians, are you in the house? Just say hi to us if you're there. Ghanaian in the house. Okay, Ghana as of July 20th, this is on Monday, just a few days ago. As of July 20th, 2020, these are the restrictions for Ghana. Authorities continue to implement to curb the spread of coronavirus disease, COVID-19. Lockdown measures in Greater Accra and Greater Kumasi were extended June 15th. International passenger flights are restricted from entry until further notice. All flights must obtain government authorization prior to flight. Domestic flights have resumed. So Ghana, international flights have been suspended until further notice, but domestic flights have resumed. Now, these are the passenger restrictions for Ghana. International flights are suspended, borders are closed. Any Ghana citizens returning to Ghana will be subjected to mandatory quarantine. No other nationalities will be allowed into the country. Yep, that's all we have for Ghana right there. Yes, our next country is Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast. Côte d'Ivoire. I hope you're in the house, Côte d'Ivoirians. I'm looking for it. Okay, Côte d'Ivoire. These are the restrictions we have as of 17th of July 2020. Restriction expires on July 30th, 2020. Okay, authorities in Côte d'Ivoire have extended the ongoing state of emergency through July 30th as part of the nation's efforts to slow the spread of COVID-19. Land and sea borders will remain closed during this period. However, domestic flights have been authorized to resume June 26th, so already begun. So they're operating domestic flights, with international flights starting July 1. So these guys have resumed flights already? Okay, so Côte d'Ivoire resumed flights. Okay, cargo and freight transport will likely continue through land and sea borders with increased screening in place. Authorities in Côte d'Ivoire have extended a nationwide 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew UFM in an effort to halve the spread of COVID-19. The extension forms part of a suite of measures enforced by the government in recent weeks. Except aircraft emergency, the exempted flights are to seek pre-authorization from the Ministry of Transportation. Yeah, the emails are right there, you can have a look at them. Passenger restrictions, some international flights were allowed to begin on July 1st. Yeah, so some flights began operating in Côte d'Ivoire as of July 1st. Yep, that's all we have for West Africa, Nigeria, and Ghana, and Côte d'Ivoire. And Central Africa we've done with Angola. Now let's take our back and now go all the way to East Africa And the only country today is Kenya. Somebody asked about Kenya, and today here I'm doing about Kenya. Now, what does Kenya have? All the way to Kenya, my country, by the way. Yeah, Kenya. Now, Kenya, this is what we have as of July 20th, 2020. Restrictions. Expiration is on July 31st. Yeah. Now, here are the restrictions. All scheduled and non-scheduled international pax flights are suspended, with exceptions of cargo, humanitarian, medevac, repatriation, diplomatic, and tech stops. Evacuation of foreign citizens can be arranged with approval of Kenya Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now, all approved flights are required to provide before departure and immediately after arrival passenger declaration forms and passenger manifest, complete with passenger names and the NR of the seats they sat on, to port health, immigration, and customs. The President of Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta, said that international air travel into and out of Kenya shall resume effective August 1. Yeah. So international flights in Kenya are resuming on August 1, in strict conformity with all protocols from the Ministry of Health, local, international, or civil aviation authorities, and any additional requirements applicable at the ports of departure, arrival, or transit. Domestic flights are resumed on July 15, so they're already operating in Kenya. So international flights are set to begin on 1st of August in accordance to the protocols of the Ministry of Health and Transport. Yeah. Here are the restrictions here. They still have international restrictions on most flights. Yeah, so Kenya also, there is quarantine, 14 days when you come. Go to a quarantine facility. Yep, that's all we have. East Africa. Yeah. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with Asia countries. I'll be dealing with India and Qatar and Oman. Before we go to South Africa, we have a lot to cover here. Alright, and welcome back. We are back to this part 2 of Flight Info, and we've dealt with East Africa, we've dealt with Central Africa and West Africa. Now we go to Asia before I finish with South Africa. Now, in Asia, let me begin today here with India. I've got so many questions here from people asking about India to Ghana, India to any other country. We had somebody asking about India to Ghana. Now, India, these are the restrictions as of July 20th, 2020. Restrictions expires on July 31st, 2020. Now, let's go. Most international passenger travel remains effectively banned through at least July 31st, with some exceptions for the repatriation of Indian citizens and foreign nationals stranded in India. Business travelers other than those with B3 sporting visas and OCI card holders and their relatives. Family members of those in India with diplomatic, official or UN international organization visas are also permitted to enter India. Mentioned travelers must approach Indian consulates for new visas, regardless of previous visa status. They may enter the country via non-scheduled flights due to an ongoing ban on commercial international passenger flights through July 31st. Arriving passengers are required to undergo self-paid, you pay for yourself, quarantine for 14 days. Asymptomatic travelers will quarantine at a designated facility for 7 days and at home for the next 7 days, while symptomatic travelers will quarantine at a medical facility. So in summary, India have closed their borders, no flights until July 31st this year. And arriving passengers, if there are no symptoms of COVID-19, you'll be quarantined for 7 days at a government facility. Then you go for 7 days at your place. Well, those with symptoms will be quarantined at a medical facility for 14 days. Yeah. Yep, so that's all we have for India. Yeah, there's no much about India really. Yeah, that's all we have for India. Flights beginning on July 31st. Yep, our next country here is Qatar. Qatar in the Middle East. Somebody asked about Qatar. So what do you have for Qatar here? Okay, Qatar. This is the information you have as of July 18, 2020. Restrictions expires on July 22nd, 2020. Restrictions. All passengers flights inbound to Qatar aerodromes are suspended except for flights with transfer passengers, Qatari nationals and cargo flights, technical landings, humanitarian, medevac and UN flights. This has been extended through July 22nd. So this means flights are begun in Qatar. We'll keep updating you on this. Qatar nationals returning will be placed under a mandatory 14-day quarantine. Qatari citizens in Qatar are not allowed to exit the country. Foreigners are barred from entering the country, so no foreigners entering the country. Wearing face masks in public remains mandatory nationwide. If passengers have onward connection with Qatar Airways commercial flight, they are allowed to land in Qatar and proceed with their onward trip to Qatar Airways without clearing immigration. You get that? Yeah, that's all we have for Qatar. Yeah. You can go through it again and just look at it right there. And our last country in the Asian continent is Oman. Okay, Oman. This is what we have for Oman as of July 18th, 2020. Restriction expiration expires on July 30th, 2020. Now, authorities in Oman will place the country in lockdown July 25th to August 8th. A nationwide curfew 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. will go into effect. All international passenger flights arriving and departing within OOMM FII, that's the airport I think, are suspended. The restriction does not apply to cargo flights with prior approval, overflights, Oman Royal Flight Operations and Humanitarian, Repatriation and Diplomatic flights with previous approval. OOMS and OOSA available for emergency diversion, only PPR 15-minute notice required via ATC. These terms are these the airports? Okay, some domestic flights have been reinstated. GTEX can arrange crew accommodation in airport hotel for diplomatic flight crew operating to OOMS or OOSA. Protective masks in public spaces and transportation is mandatory. You must wear a face mask in public. All persons arriving into Oman will be subject to a 14-day quarantine. So quarantine is a must. 14 days in Qatar. In Oman, in Oman. Foreigners are prohibited from entering Oman via any entry point until further notice. So no foreigners allowed into Oman. Only Omani nationals may enter the country, though they must undergo a mandatory 14-day quarantine period. Authorities have prevented Oman citizens from leaving the country since March 18th. Yeah, so special considerations: humanitarian, repatriation, diplomatic, cargo and ambulance flights can also operate subject to PSA approval. So these are allowed into the country. Yep, that's all we have for Oman right there. And now in our last part, let's deal with the Southern Africa. Guys from Mozambique, Malawi and Zambia. Yes, and this is our last region is Southern Africa, and we have three countries: Mozambique, Malawi and Zambia. Let's deal with this today here. Now let's begin with Mozambique. I've had a number of questions asking Mumbai to Mozambique. Mumbai to Mozambique, and also there's a question about Malawi here, Malawi to Dubai. Yeah, which airline is operating there, and also Zambia. We had Zambia to Mumbai. Yeah, so let's begin with Mozambique. Now, Mozambique, this is the info we have as of 17th of July 2020. Restrictions. No foreign nationals are allowed to enter the country. Approved travelers must self-quarantine for 14 days if they are entering the country from countries affected by COVID-19. Authorities have suspended international passenger flights through July 10th. So does this mean flights have begun in Mozambique? I think so. Matters of state, repatriation, humanitarian and cargo flights are exempt from the ban. These measures also exempts individuals traveling to Mozambique for health reasons. Mozambique citizens and residents will be allowed entry, but will be subject to a 14-day quarantine. Aircraft disinfection is mandatory after each flight. It is also mandatory to disinfect passengers and cargo before boarding or loading onto the aircraft. Passenger restrictions in Mozambique. Disembarking international passengers are subject to an observational tray to check for COVID-19, which includes a mandatory temperature and a mandatory 14-day quarantine at a place of residence during time in country. Once in the country, passengers must wear a mask, practice social distancing and quarantine. Now, the following countries citizens can enter Mozambique. If you are from this country, you can enter Mozambique. US citizens, Canadian citizens, European citizens, certain countries, not all of them, certain countries, Mexican citizens, Latin American citizens, though also certain countries, not all of them, Asia Pacific citizens, certain countries, Middle East and Africa citizens, certain countries, not all of them. Yes. So that's all we have for Mozambique. We will keep updating you if there are any flights to that country, which airlines flying there. Let's go to Malawi. Now, Malawi, as of June 20th, this is what we had from Malawi. As of June 20th, all international flights have been suspended. Land borders are reportedly open. Land borders are open. However, delays at crossings are likely due to enhanced screening measures. Enhanced screening measures are in place for all travelers, updated on 20th June 2020. From our chat here, we cannot really find Malawi, more info about Malawi, so we will keep updating you about Malawi. If there are flights from Malawi to somebody asked about Malawi to Dubai, we'll keep updating you on the same. And our very last country today here is Zambia. Let's talk about Zambia. Now, Zambia, this is the latest info as of July 20th, 2020. Restrictions. Only FLKK Lusaka Airport is accepting international flights. Only this airport, FLKK, is an airport there. Lusaka Airport is accepting international flights. Crew on cargo and chartered international flights into FLKK Lusaka Airport shall be exempt from the ongoing 14-day mandatory quarantine period. All airports in Zambia are now open. Passenger restrictions. All arriving passengers will have to undergo a 14-day self-quarantine. All parks arriving in Zambia. And they must wear a mask at all times in public areas and practice social distancing. All flights have to obtain permission from the government. So that's all we have for Zambia. Social distancing must be there and all that. So that brings us to a close on our flight info part 2 today here, and I'm so glad to be here with you. So keep asking your question down there. I know there are more questions you need to ask me, and we'll try as much as possible to answer to each and every of your question as you ask down there. The question about flights and airlines, we'll keep answering those questions down there in the comment section. Just talk to us down there. And now, please tell us the country you like us to do in our next video. I hope this has been informative. So tell us down there the country you like us to do in our next video. So for now, I have not much to put across. Just keep safe, and we hope things will be getting fine. Yeah, I have to sign up now here from the platform. My name is Mzima and I love you all. Nawapenda nyote sana sana. We'll be back with more news. Thank you and goodbye.